I went to visit the parents of my new girlfriend and future wife, but she wasn't home, so I decided to wait for her to get off the train. While waiting for Emily, that's my girlfriend's name, I was alone with her mother Linda, who had recently returned from work. She offered me a cup of tea, and here we were, sitting together in the kitchen, chatting about household chores. The kitchen was cozy, the aroma of freshly brewed tea filled the air, and we shared stories about our families and interests. Linda was warm and welcoming, and I felt comfortable in her presence. Emily calls and says she's running late and won't arrive until tomorrow, and will be spending the night at a friend's house. I decide to go home and tell Linda about it, to which she replies, "Stay here. I downloaded an interesting movie. Let's watch it together." I agree, and we sit down on the couch in front of the TV. The movie turned out to be a bit boring for me, so I decided to go get a beer. When I return, I notice that my future mother-in-law Linda has changed into a comfortable robe. She must be hot, I thought, and didn't give it much thought. It should be said that my future father-in-law, Jack, is a trucker, and he is often away from home. And Linda is a shapely, confident woman, not lacking in charm. So, I opened the bottle and watched this not-so-great movie. I thought it was a melodrama with lots of romantic scenes, and this movie was no exception. I came to Emily's house just to visit, so I was a little taken aback to see scenes like this. Involuntarily, I looked at Linda. She too seemed affected by these scenes, clutching and releasing her robe here and there. Apparently, she and Jack haven't spent much time together lately, since she's reacting this way, I thought. We exchanged a few glances, and I could feel the tension building between us. A little while later, she put her feet in my lap, asking for a massage, and I started massaging her feet. At that moment, my heart beat even harder. I looked at her and didn't know what to do. Maybe she was doing it on purpose, or maybe it was just a coincidence, but it seemed like a risky situation to me. I felt her soft skin under my fingers and tried to focus on the TV, but my attention kept returning to Linda. Still, I dared to ask, "Linda, do you want a full massage?" She turned around, looked me in the eye, and replied, "Sure, give it to me. Jack hasn't given it to me in a while. He's always traveling and working." She quickly turned over and added with a mischievous smile, "Let's hurry up before Jack or Emily get back." She then added quite sincerely that she had never cheated on her husband, to which I smiled and said, "There's always a first time." At my words, Linda only laughed, her eyes betraying the desire she was holding back. Her laugh was soft, almost teasing, and she seemed to be waiting for me to make the next move. I began to massage her, during which Linda turned to me and kissed my nose. Her lips were soft, and I could feel her trembling slightly as she leaned closer. What started out as a simple massage turned into something more. The atmosphere in the room changed, becoming heavy with unspoken words and emotions. I felt a rush of adrenaline as Linda pulled me closer and her hands roamed up my back. The intensity of the moment took me by surprise, and I found myself responding to her without hesitation. Afterward, Linda complimented me and said, "I hope you and Emily get married, and these massages can be continued in the future." I didn't say anything back, just nodded in response, still digesting everything that had just happened. 2 months later, it happened. Emily and I got married and started living in my apartment. The wedding was beautiful, and Linda seemed genuinely happy for us. She bestowed a knowing smile on me during the ceremony, and I couldn't help but remember that evening. But occasionally, at Linda's request, I would visit her and give her my signature massage while Jack was away on business. These visits have become a regular occurrence, and each time Linda greets me with a warm smile. We have a glass of wine before the massage, sometimes talking about life, her relationship with Jack, and the stresses she so often faces alone. One evening, after one of these massages, Linda opened up to me about her loneliness. She talked about how difficult it was to be married to a man who was constantly on the road, and how she missed the closeness they used to share. I listened, feeling a strange mixture of sympathy and guilt. She looked at me, her eyes full of longing, and I realized that our relationship had gone beyond mere physical attraction. There was an emotional connection now, something deeper that neither of us had expected. She leaned over and kissed my cheek again, and this time, it was different, more intimate, more vulnerable. Our encounters continued, each more intense than the last. I found myself looking forward to these moments with Linda, the thrill of the mystery and the genuine connection we shared. It was dangerous, and I knew it, but there was something about the way she looked at me, the way she touched me, that made it impossible to resist. I realized I was playing with fire, but I couldn't help myself. The arousal, the forbidden nature of our relationship made it even more exciting. Emily didn't understand what was happening, and I was torn between my loyalty to her and the love I felt for Linda. Every time I returned home to Emily, I felt a prick of guilt, but at the same time, I couldn't bring myself to break up with Linda. It was a difficult situation, and I knew that eventually something would have to give. But for now, I was fine with living in the moment, enjoying the thrill of a relationship with Linda, and at the same time, keeping my life with Emily intact. And so the mystery continued, each visit to Linda's house becoming another chapter in our hidden history.